right, I think we can get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining this meeting. My name is Mazian Maziani, and I'm the project manager for this project for the Connecticut Department of Transportation. This meeting is to present to you project 583483, the Rehab of Bridge 00362, also known as the Mystic River Bridge. So we have some difficulties to live stream to YouTube. We will be uploading that into YouTube by tomorrow morning. So if you have any further questions, you can send us an email. All right. So the following will be covered during this meeting. We'll start with some housekeeping items, then introduce the project teams, then go over the proposal we have, and finally open for Q&A session. To view the captions in Zoom, click on the small arrow next to show captions, then click my speaking language and select the language of preference. Title 6 for civil rights states, no person shall, on the basis of race, color, and national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this flag. For more information on the civil rights, please follow the links shown here. We can also scan the QR. I'm sorry. For survey of this meeting, you can scan this the QR code or follow this link. To leave us any comments, observations, or suggestions for these meetings. Any person who believes he or she has been aggrieved by any unlawful discriminatory practices under Title 6 may file a complaint with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. To do so, you can call the coordinator of 860-594-2169, PRS 711, or email deborah.boss@gmail.com. For more information, please visit www.ct.gov/DOT. This slide is just a Spanish version of the previous slide, so let's give a few seconds here for you to read it. So you can, throughout the presentation, you can reach out to us by email at dot0058-0343@ct.gov, or by phone at 860-594-2020 and leave us a voicemail. Please make sure you state the project number, which is 583483, so we know it's specific to this project. Or you can use the Zoom chat or the Zoom Q&A box to type in your questions, which I would explain in the topic. You can find all these information in the project webpage, DOT Mystic 58-343. The comment period is open through August 12th, so even if you ask a question today, in the next couple of weeks, you can always reach out to us by email or by phone. Obviously, the Zoom Q&A won't be available at the time, but you can always reach out to us by email or phone. So for today, in order to use the Zoom chat or Zoom Q&A, you can select the Q&A tool at the bottom of your Zoom webinar window. So the Q&A window will open, type in your question, and click enter. If you are an audio only participant, please dial *9 to raise and lower your hand. You can send us any questions throughout the presentation by email, chat, or phone, but we will only respond to those questions once we get to the Q&A session. So our connected DOT project team consists of Bob Sweeney, who's the division chief of bridges, Bao Tong, principal engineer for Metro Bridge unit, myself, Mazian, and the project manager. Ed Powell is the project engineer. We also have Luke Arnold, who's helping us behind the scene with the technicalities of the Zoom view. At this point, I will turn it over to our designers, CGN and Hardesty. He will go over the presentation and present the Rehab project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mezian. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending. My name is John Miller, and I work for Close, Jensen, and Miller of Wethersfield. Together with Hardesty and Hanover, we are the designers on this project. From CJM tonight, we are represented by Thomas Ryan, the engineer in charge, Min Pham, the project engineer, myself, project manager. And from Hardesty and Hanover, we have Brian Kinsley, the lead structural engineer, and Matt Gagliano, the lead mechanical engineer. This design team will be available for questions and comments following this presentation. Next slide, please. Bridge 362, known as the Mystic Drawbridge, spans over the Mystic River. There are a total of 4 spans. Spans 1, 2, and 4 are fixed in that they do not move. Span 3 is a lift span that provides for marine traffic in the Federal Navigation Channel located in the Mystic River, downstream of Mystic Seaport. The lift span is a single leaf bascule with overhead counterweights supported by trunnion towers and steel trusses that are positioned above the roadway on both sides of the bridge. The bridge is within the US Route 1 right-of-way, and no private property impacts are anticipated with this project. And the next slide, please. Thank you. Here's an elevation view looking upstream towards Mystic Seaport. This provides a good view of the different elements of the bridge, including the steel through girders, stone face masonry abutments and piers, trunnion towers, overhead counterweights, support trusses and linkage system, the bridge control house, the bascule lift span, and the fender system along the navigation channel. Next slide, please. The purpose of this project is to address load carrying capacity, structural, mechanical, electrical, architectural, fender, and waterway deficiencies, to keep these in a good state of repair and extend the life of the bridge. Bikeway enhancements will be provided to improve bicycle passage over the open grid deck. The existing bridge was constructed in 1922 and rehabilitated in 2013. Again, it consists of 4 spans, 3 simply supported and 1 single leaf bascule span, stone face masonry, concrete abutments and piers with concrete caps. The dimensions are 220 feet for an overall length, 33 feet measured curb to curb, and 48 feet measured out to out, which includes sidewalks on both sides of the bridge. The bascule lift span is 85 feet long, and the bull wheel operation of this bridge is visible from the roadway, which makes this a unique and popular attraction. Here are some plans, articles, construction photos, and a postcard of this bascule bridge designed and patented by Thomas E. Brown. Several events are hosted at this historical bridge throughout the year, making it one of the state's top tourism attractions. On average, the bridge opens 2,200 times per year, and each time it does, the total weight of moving parts is over 600 tons. A plan consisting mainly of routine rehabilitation has been identified. A summary of the rehabilitation consists of strengthen and repair the steel members, general reconditioning of all machinery, electrical upgrades, adding a closed circuit TV, public address system, replacing the motor drives, repointing existing stone masonry faced piers and abutments, control house improvements, including security and exterior paint, fender system repairs, updating the existing bridge scour monitoring system, and providing bikeway enhancements over the open steel grid deck. Next slide, please. This slide shows some photos of the different elements that will be addressed in this project. And the structural steel repairs are necessary to address load carrying capacity due to the age and deterioration of the steel support members. Next slide, please. The local bike riding community has expressed concerns with rideability over the bridge. These photos show the existing condition, and ConnDOT has installed warning signs on both sides of the bridge to advise riders of the steel grid deck. And as shown in the picture, some riders choose to ride the narrow concrete-filled strips, as shown on the left-hand side. Rider concerns are general instability, and the next slide will show the bikeway enhancements. These enhancements are based on conversations and discussions with the city of Milwaukee, who has similar bike riding concerns on its open steel grid decks. For the past 20 years, when one of these bridges undergoes a rehabilitation, they have been installing perforated steel bikeway plates, as shown in these photos. Wisconsin's snow removal requirements are similar to Connecticut's, and to facilitate safe snowplow use, Milwaukee incorporated countersunk fasteners and snowplow operator training. This is the first time these types of plates have been proposed for bikes in Connecticut. Therefore, extensive coordination with ConnDOT's maintenance and other stakeholders will be necessary over the course of the design to provide a product that will ensure safe passage of bikes and other vehicles while minimizing the maintenance costs. The department intends to monitor these plates following installation and evaluate their performance. If major safety concerns are discovered, the department will reevaluate their use at that time. Next slide, please. Safety considerations include marine traffic, visibility, including the kayaks shown in the slide there, heavy pedestrian and tourism traffic, bridge openings, vehicular and bicycle traffic, local businesses, and emergency response. And next slide, please. Thanks. From the maintenance and protection of traffic standpoint, the majority of this work will occur without interruptions to the traveling public. There will be some single lane closures with alternating one-way traffic, for example, during the installation of the bikeway enhancements. A full roadway closure is not anticipated. However, given the age and some uncertainty of this century-old bridge, a detour has been identified for use only as needed and as coordinated with the towns and emergency response services. Marine traffic will be maintained for the majority of the work. There will, however, be short-term interruptions, and these will be coordinated with the United States Coast Guard, harbor masters, and local officials. Historically, the use of this navigation channel is infrequent during the off-season. It is early in the design process, and we don't have all the necessary information. However, our design intention is to schedule work that would otherwise impact marine traffic during the off-season. Project updates and plans for review and comment will be provided to the towns during design. For environmental permits and requirements, we are expecting a significant permitting effort for this project, including but not limited to a flood management general, Connecticut Deep Land and Water Resource Division certificate of permission, Connecticut Deep marker permit, United States Army Corps of Engineers, Section 408, and a United States Coast Guard temporary deviation permit. And the next slide shows a map of current and future CONDOT projects in the area. We've reviewed this information and determined that these projects will not have a significant impact on the proposed rehabilitation project. I'll now kick it back to Meziane, who will go over the current schedule and cost associated with this project.
Yeah, thank you, John, for the presentation. So the current schedule is shown on the screen here. We are anticipating to complete the preliminary design phase on this September, end of September of this year. This corresponds to the start of the final design phase. Final design plans or PDs are anticipated by October of next year and start of construction in the spring of 2026. We anticipate a 12-month construction season. The total cost at this time is 3.7 million, with 80% federal and 20% state. No town funds are needed or required. And obviously, the cost and schedule are preliminary and are subject to change in the future. So keep that in mind. All right. At this point, we can receive your questions and try our best to answer all of your questions. As we stated before, to reach us, you can send us an email or a phone call or a chat. To email us, you can send us an email to dotproject 0058-0343 @cp.gov. You can call us at 860-594-2020 and leave a voicemail, or you can just use the Zoom Q&A box to ask your questions. All right, so let's see if we have any questions. All right, we have one question from Amanda. So to confirm this will have no impact on land owners on either side of the bridge, blocking entrances to businesses, rights of way, etc. So John, do you want to answer that?
Yes, thank you for that question and confirmed. We feel that there's adequate room within the right of way that we have. There will be, I don't know exactly which parcel you are, but again, there will be some alternating one-way traffic conditions. And if, for example, I know at our northeast corner, there's a merchant that's almost part of the bridge, but if that by chance is you, then know that we do intend to keep that that business parcel sidewalk open even throughout construction. So yes, confirmed. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, John. Another question from Kate. Route 1 in Groton South Road to the bridge is on the list for VIP paving. How will the two jobs be coordinated?
I'm not sure which project that person was referring to. There is no paving on the lift span itself. So we're an open steel grid deck, and that condition will remain, with the exception of the steel plate bikeway enhancements. At the if there's a VIP paving project that that you've identified that is on US 1, then we'll need to consider that, and incorporate that into our project documents to limitations of operations to coordinate the two. So thank you for pointing that out. The projects in the vicinity that we have reviewed to date don't appear to present any kind of problem for the work that we've proposed. Again, if there's work, a VIP paving project on US Route 1, I'm sure we can coordinate the two, and that will be included in the contract documents.
Thank you, John. Another question from Ben. Where do you anticipate staging to take place?
That's a good question. And again, thank you for the question. A lot of this work takes place in the pit, let's say, mechanical pit. And also the control house and the fender system. In general, and the steel repairs are by nature, they're not like we're coming in with all together new beams. So we don't envision a lot of heavy and highway type work. I feel that the alternating one-way condition with traffic control will be adequate for the huge majority of work that we can stage our work within that lane closure and not cause a disruption to the adjacent parcels and businesses. As you know, I'm sure space is very tight in this area, and it's a heavily traveled corridor as well. So I do feel that the types of work and the components we'll be using won't occupy a lot of space, and we'll certainly have requirements in the contract that tell our contractor where he can go and when he can go and where he can't go. In other words, the same limitations of operations will be in place.
Thank you, John. Another question from Jennifer. He says, thank you for providing for safe bike transport. We hope they will be permanent. If there is a concern, will you seek other solutions? This is vital artillery for multimodal transport.
Yeah, understood. Thank you for acknowledging the efforts the department has made, and do know that this has been an exhaustive process to get to this point. So it's our intention to make it work. If we should find, as it's already been noted in the presentation, that the other safety concerns outweigh the our design intention, we'll review that at that time. At this point, this is the best alternative we could come up with. Know also that this bridge is especially weight sensitive, and that the the balancing of the bascule span and the weight that has to be added to the counterweight pockets is a delicate process, and you can't do one without the other. And all that additional weight overhead also puts additional considerations in the drive motors and the overall objectives of this project. So again, at this point, it's our intention to make this work, and we're going with this one. Is the best way I can put it. If we find it's not working and snowplow removal is an issue, at that point we'll be seeking coordination, probably additional coordination with perhaps Milwaukee, seeing what we can do with the fasteners, design details, and just identifying the nature of the problem. But it's early to say what we would do.
Yeah, and just to add to what John said, we're proposing to have extra, basically double the number of plates. So if any plates get damaged because of clouds or anything else, we have them in hand and just replace the place that are damaged. All right, next question, from Rosemary. Is this going to affect the dock on the south side of the bridge?
Again, thanks for the question. Yeah, there are actually two. So the one that launches the sail ship at the on the west side, no, we intend to keep that fully open and operational. And likewise on the at the southeast corner, we don't envision any impacts to that.
Thank you, Brian. We have another question from Rob. You mentioned work would be done off-season. What do you consider off-season?
From the navigation channel standpoint, the use of this channel goes way down in the months of January and February, almost to the point of maybe one opening a week historically. So off-season, certainly navigation wise, we would schedule work to coordinate with that to minimize the inconvenience to the marine traffic. The roadway situation is, you know, it's almost the opposite, where it's especially busy, but it's busy throughout the year. So it's primarily the wintertime months for navigation purposes is what I consider off-season.
Thank you, John. Another question from Shannon. Do you have anticipated completion date of work? I can go back to the schedule here quickly. Yeah, so we're anticipating to start in the spring of 2026. 12 months after that, we should be done. But as we said before, this is preliminary for now. As we move forward in the final design, we will have a better idea of when to start and when to complete the project. Let me just take a look at questions. All right. Another question from Rosemary. Will the work be primary done during the daylight hours, or will there be work done overnight?
I expect most of this work to take place during the daytime hours.
Question from Deborah. Will work be done on the bridge on weekends and holidays?
No, we wouldn't be working on a holiday unless it was an emergency. So absolutely not on a holiday. Weekends would be considered. You know, we'd be looking at traffic counts and marine use, but I don't expect this project would require the use of weekends unless it was for the overall purpose of minimizing the impact, or looking for a period of time that would avoid a. I understand you have several events during the weekend, so I wouldn't expect to have weekend work on this project. But as the design advances, we'll be coordinating with the town to make sure if there are special events that we know of them, and we're sure to avoid those periods.
Thank you, John. All right, next question from Pam. Will there be a temporary signal system installed for control of the single lane use periods. What will be the working hours, and will there be the dual lane, basically 2 lanes used in the non-working hours?
Thanks again for the question. Unlike other projects that you're probably familiar with at this site, I don't picture this project will require signalized alternating one-way. I expect that we'll be able to perform the work we need to perform under flagmen and appropriate lane restrictions and proper signage and notification. So as when we leave the site, if we were in an operation that we would never leave the site in an alternating one-way without some traffic control in place. At this point, meaning the signals, at this point, I don't expect that will occur. If we get further into the design and we find we do need a longer alternating one-way traffic condition, then we probably would have to make provisions for temporary signalization. At this point, I don't feel this project will be like others that Mystic has experienced with this bridge.
Thank you for the answer, Frank. Next question from Amy. Will access to the dock at the southwest corner of the bridge be maintained all times, May to October, so passengers of this business can access the ship? Will commercial vessel which docks 40 feet south of southwest corner of the bridge have any operational restrictions?
Thank you. Yes. As noted earlier, we do expect to keep both sides on the downstream, both of those docks operational throughout the construction.
All right, thank you, Dan. Next question from Kate. Where will construction be staged, material stored? Will this have an impact on the available public parking?
We will have in our limitations of operations, again, what the contractor can and can't do. And again, I don't feel the types of equipment and materials will necessitate anything that would, prohibit your use of the existing parking. So our work is going to be pretty tight and contained to the bridge, and it should not impact the parking. And as far as people go, workers, I do feel that we're going to need to include language in the contract to let the contractor know that they're not expected to use up all the parking at this site. So we'll be addressing that as we get further into the contract special provisions and limitations of operations.
Thank you, Dan. Another question from Kate, is any environmental mitigation going to be included as part of this project?
I don't expect any mitigation other than the usual. We do have a hazardous materials review is still ongoing at this point. So depending on what comes back from that, we'll react accordingly. But there shouldn't be a need for mitigation because I don't believe we're going to have any impacts.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, so right now we don't have any other questions. So if you have any additional questions, please feel free to type them in. If not, you can always reach out to us via email after tonight's meeting to this email address shown here, dot project 0058-0343 @ct.gov. Or you can call us at 860-594-2020 and leave us a voicemail. So yeah, and I just want to thank you all for attending this meeting. If you would like, there is a survey. You can follow the link and provide us with your review or suggestions on the presentation. I'm gonna give a last call for any questions, if you have any. All right, hearing none, so I would say thank you all for attending this meeting. Thank you for your questions and comments. If, as I said, if you have any further questions in the next weeks, please reach out. And thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. So I appreciate that. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.